Hey everyone, it's day 100 of 66 and 26. First of all, day 100. If you've been following along with us, even if you've missed a day or two, just take a second to celebrate what God has been doing through His Word in your life for 100 days of our journey to read all 66 books of the Bible in 2026. And if you're watching this on social media today, let me encourage you, drop 100 in the comments so that we know you're following along and celebrate with us 100 days of 66 and 26. Second of all, let's talk about the chapters we're reading today from 1 Samuel 19 to 23. There are a couple of strange things that are happening here in this text. And first of all, for the third time now in 1 Samuel, we are told that the Lord sent an evil spirit upon Saul. What does that mean? Well, it's not saying that God has somehow turned evil or God is sinning, but this is a way of saying that God is bringing judgment upon Saul. Already back in 1 Samuel 16, we're told that God had removed his favor from Saul. He rejected Saul as king, and he pulled his spirit of blessing from Saul and poured out a spirit of torment upon Saul, which meant judgment. And oftentimes this happens in the Bible where we don't see just an immediate destruction of that person who has sinned against the Lord, but God gives over a person to the path they're already on. Saul has already hardened his heart and turned away from the Lord, and now God is really kind of confirming or affirming that pathway that Saul has already chosen. We see this as a really kind of a pattern in the whole Scripture, but in Romans chapters 1 and 2, Paul talks about how God has given over those who sin to the disobedience of their ways, and God has given Saul over to his rebellion, and Saul's hardened himself, and now a spirit comes from the Lord to confirm that in him. The other thing that's kind of strange in these chapters is that as Saul and his men are pursuing David, we're told that Saul's men and then Saul himself, they begin to prophesy. What does that mean? Because we normally think of prophesying as, the prophets foretell the future, and that's what it means to prophesy. But in this case, that's probably not what this means. Prophesying had this sense of some sort of charismatic, enthusiastic kind of a praise. And really what God is doing here for the men of Saul, and then for Saul himself, is that he's stopping them right in their tracks. Instead of pursuing David, they turn and they start praising the Lord instead. And so what we see in that is that God has authority over all things. And if you are pursuing evil, God can stop you. God can stop you right in your tracks, and He has authority over all things. And so I think these chapters are a reminder to us that God is sovereign over all. He is not going to be outmaneuvered. He's not going to be surprised. He's not shocked by any of this. He is very much in control. He is in control of who's going to be in charge. And now Saul is on his way out as king, and David is on his way in, and we see God pouring out his blessing on David. And I think that we can take encouragement from this for ourselves as we know that God is sovereign over all things, so that no matter what happens for us in world affairs now and any day, God is very much in command, and that is a reminder. So on this day 100 of 66 and 26, we celebrate what God is doing for us in His sovereign power, His goodness, and speaking to us through His Word. And a reminder, if you're on social media, drop 100 in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 101.